Deep in the Amazon, there's something bullets can't kill. Machetes bounce off its hide. Fire doesn't faze the thing. Locals call it Mapinguari, and every hunter who's faced this bastard has the same advice. Run like hell. But here's the really fucked up part. Every time someone finds real proof of this monster, that evidence just vanishes. Let's get one thing straight. The Mapinguari isn't just some bullshit campfire story. Dr. David Oren, a respected scientist, spent years chasing this beast through the Amazon. He tracked down witnesses, collected evidence, and tried like hell to drag the truth into the daylight. But every time he got close, the academic assholes slammed the door in his face. Journals blacklisted his research. Colleagues called him a fucking nut job. And the government? They played dumb as usual. That's not healthy skepticism. That's a 100% cover-up. So, what the hell is this critter? The Mapinguari is a walking nightmare. 8 to 10 feet tall, covered in thick, matted, dark brown or reddish fur. It's like a prehistoric Bigfoot that bench presses trucks. It's got backward-facing feet to throw off trackers, claws like meat hooks, and a stench so foul you'll swear your big sweaty uncle from the holler paid you a visit. The worst part? A gaping, toothy mouth smack in the middle of its stomach, ready to swallow you whole. Some stories say it's got a single cyclops eye. Others swear its skin is armor like a goddamn alligator. It's almost bulletproof, except for one weird weak spot. Its belly button. No shit. The Mapinguari's been spotted all over South America, mainly deep in the Amazon of Brazil and Peru, but also in the wilds of Bolivia, Colombia, Venezuela, and the Guyanas. Tribal legends go back centuries, with elders warning about the roaring beast that leaves only fear and vanishing footprints. Strap in, because the deeper you dig, the stranger the cover-up gets. Let's rip the Band-Aid off the jungle's worst-kept secret. The Mapinguari isn't just a local legend, it's a full-blown, industrial-grade cover-up, with more smoke and mirrors than a Vegas magic act. The deeper you dig, the more you realize somebody somewhere is working overtime to keep this beast buried, literally and figuratively. Government suppression and vanishing evidence. First up, the Brazilian military and their international friends. Every time a credible Mapinguari encounter goes public, I'm talking plaster casts of those freaky backward feet, tufts of stinking fur, or even the odd corpse. Some shadowy task force swoops in. Witnesses talk about helicopters dropping into remote villages, soldiers confiscating evidence, and scientists getting stonewalled. One minute, there's a hair sample in a lab freezer. The next, it's lost in transit. Plastic casts? Missing. Photos? Cameras malfunction. Even bodies have vanished right out of government morgues. Researchers who push too hard suddenly find themselves reassigned to some dead-end post, or their funding mysteriously dries up overnight. Why the hell are authorities so desperate to erase every trace? Maybe it's about keeping the world from realizing there's a goddamn prehistoric monster walking around the Amazon. One that would upend everything we think we know about extinction. Corporate logging and mining cover-ups. It's even nastier once you follow the money. Typical. Mega corporations, think Vail, Rio Tinto, and their fat cat Wall Street backers have fucking billions riding on Amazon land. Now, imagine the PR nightmare if word got out that a giant, possibly man-eating cryptid is roaming their work sites. Dead loggers? Meh, jaguar attack. Bulldozers ripped to shreds? Equipment failure. Locals flee into the forest, babbling about a beast with a mouth on its belly? Here's some hush money. Now sign this NDA and keep your fucking mouth shut. The companies don't just bribe officials. They bankroll entire research teams whose job it is to debunk Mapinguari sightings before they hit the news. If you're a worker who saw something you shouldn't, you either get paid off or you disappear. All so the timber keeps flowing and Wall Street doesn't get spooked by unforeseen wildlife risk. It's not just about profits. It's about protecting an empire built on denial and destruction. Scientific community blacklisting. And don't think the scientific community is all squeak fucking clean either. Zoologists and cryptozoologists who go chasing the Mapinguari quickly find out there's an invisible line you just don't cross. Dr. David Oren? Dude had his research grants yanked, his papers lost, and his reputation shot to hell. Others have been denied tenure, blacklisted from journals, or quietly pushed out of academia. There's a chilling pattern. If you're too loud about the Mapinguari, your career is fucked. Is it just academic snobbery? Or are the bigwigs protecting something bigger? Maybe they're scared of looking like dumbasses. Or maybe they're taking orders from the same shadowy suits who own the logging rights. Could even be both, but more likely the latter. The DNA evidence that disappeared. Now, here's where shit gets truly wild. Over the years, rumors have swirled about actual genetic evidence. Fur, blood, even tissue samples collected from Mapinguari encounters. In one story, a biologist in Manaus sequenced DNA from a ground sloth-like hair sample, only for the results to be seized by government officials and then declared inconclusive. Another case, a university lab in Sao Paulo received a chunk of flesh from a mysterious jungle carcass. 2 days later, the sample vanished, and the lead scientist stopped returning calls. Every time labs get close to a breakthrough, the evidence disappears. The results are buried, and the scientists either go silent or oddly change careers overnight. Who the hell is pulling these strings? Is it government, big business, or some unholy alliance of both? The bottom line, the Mapinguari isn't just a monster in the jungle, it's a monster in the system. And the harder you look, the more you realize the real danger isn't what's out there in the dark, but who's working so goddamn hard to keep it hidden. The legend of the Mapinguari is like a game of cryptid telephone that's been running wild through the Amazon for centuries. Long before any rubber baron or missionary got lost in the jungle, tribes like the Kayapo, Xingu, and Tupi were swapping stories about a beast that could flatten trees and scare the shit out of even the toughest hunter. This wasn't just a bedtime story, it was a straight-up warning. The Mapinguari's roots run deep, tangled up in ancient oral traditions that hint at something much older than any modern-day sighting. Let's talk about the name, Mapinguari. In the old Niingatu tongue, Mapi means thing or being, and Nguari is all about that roar, the kind of noise that makes the jungle go dead fucking silent. So we're talking about the roaring thing, a title that fits whether you're facing a supernatural monster or a prehistoric tank with fur. What's trippy as hell is how the description shifts depending on who the hell's telling the tale. The Kayapo might say it's a giant, stinking beast with a mouth on its belly and backward feet. The Xingu throw in the power to curse or protect the forest, while the Tupi see it as both a guardian and a punisher. When the Portuguese colonists blundered in, they started scribbling about devil beasts and giant sloths, likely after seeing tracks or hearing the kind of screams that make you rethink your career choices. Fast forward to today, and the Mapinguari's been compared to everything from a South American Bigfoot to a modern prehistoric giant sloth. But the Mapinguari's not alone in the Amazon's monster manual. There's the Segami that looks and acts identical to a Mapinguari. Curupira, who rocks the same backward feet and fiery colored hair. And the Kibungo, a beast with a vertical mouth on its back instead of its stomach. Some even think the legend is a memory of the Mylodontidae, massive ground sloths that once inhabited these forests. As for diet, the Mapinguari's mostly a leaf muncher, but every so often it'll chow down on some meat, usually scavenging meat from buzzards that are taking too long to finish off. However, sometimes it's to defend its turf or get a little payback. There are hundreds of reported sightings of this creepy fucker. Here's the most insane encounters out there. Time to put the kids to bed. Hell yeah! Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. The moments when the Mapinguari legend stops being just campfire talk and starts scaring the dog shit out of people in real life. These ain't just whispers in the dark. These are full-on encounters that had grown men questioning their sanity and locals locking their doors and loading their guns every night. 1975 Jamixam River Encounter. First up, we've got Mario Pereira de Souza, a mine worker just trying to earn a living south of Itaituba in Pará State. One night, Mario's out near his mining camp when he's hit with a stench so foul, it's like rotten eggs and decomposing flesh mixed with swamp ass. Nature's way of saying, get the hell out of here. Before he can react, he spots a hulking, two-legged creature lurching through the trees. This thing's got an unsteady, upright gait, claws like a steroidal armadillo, and a face that's a dead ringer for your mother-in-law. Then it lets out a scream that, in Mario's words, froze the blood. You don't forget a sound like that. The details exactly matched what folks had been whispering about for generations, almost too fucking well. Western Amazon sighting. Fast forward to 1993. João Batista Azevedo, a man who clearly has more guts than sense, finishes a 45-day solo canoe trip deep in the jungle. He's probably hoping for a cold beer and a hammock. But instead, a massive, hairy, bipedal figure steps out from the underbrush. No attack, just a stare down, and then a scream so raw it could sandblast the tattoos off a sailor's ass. Then the beast turns and vanishes, leaving João with the classic Mapinguari checklist. Upright stance, a stench that could kill a buzzard, and a face that's not quite human. Makes you wonder, what the hell else is out there stalking around? David Oren's Field Expeditions, 1970s to 1990s. Now, let's talk science. Dr. David Oren, an ornithologist, the study of birds, a zoologist, professor, and conservationist, got his bachelor's degree from Yale and his master's and PhD from Harvard. He's a cryptozoologist with a huge set of balls that wasn't satisfied with just stories. He led dozens of expeditions, grilling locals for information, not food, and hunting for proof of the monster. Oren found fresh-clawed tree markings, plaster-casted giant footprints with obvious backward claws, and even snagged some hair and fecal matter samples. DNA results were, of course, inconclusive. His meticulous notes and evidence are the backbone of modern Mapinguari research. The dude treated every lead like a crime scene. What he found kept lining up eerily identical with the old stories of the local shaman. It was enough to make even the skeptics start shitting their drawers. Tapajos River Cluster. Now for the real wild stuff. From 2005 to 2014, a whole fuckload of folks along the Tapajos River started reporting run-ins with a beast that reeked like a public restroom, walked around on two legs, and looked like a prehistoric ground sloth. Sometimes it was a one-eyed monster with a belly mouth straight out of hell. The stories always circle back to three things: the god-awful stench, an armor-plated hide, and those freaky-ass backward feet. Despite nearly a decade of sightings, no one snapped a clear photo or video. Just more fuel for believers and skeptics alike to argue over. So, what the hell are people seeing? A formerly extinct giant sloth? A trick of the jungle? A new species of Bigfoot? Or something science won't touch with your sister's vibrator? You're fixing to find out. The wildest explanations and theories that try to make sense of this Amazonian nightmare are coming up. Alright, time to wade into the swamp of theories. Skeptics, believers, and everyone in between, all trying to pin down what the hell the Mapinguari really is. Is it a flesh and blood monster? A walking cautionary tale? Or just a trick of the Amazonian mind? Let's break down the camps. Indigenous folklore gone wild. Skeptics love to say the Mapinguari is just a myth cranked up to 11 over centuries. They argue it's a cultural tool, a way to enforce respect for the jungle, scare folks straight, or symbolize nature's power. Traits like a mouth on the stomach, backward feet, or invulnerability? Pure myth-making. They say no animal could survive with that anatomy. According to the academic crowd, oral traditions get more bonkers with every retelling. But here's the kicker. Tribes that are separated by hundreds of miles and have never even met all describe the same freaky details. Coincidence, or is there something deeper? Misidentification. Some skeptics chalk sightings up to mistaken identity. Giant anteaters, spectacled bears, or even stray livestock could look monstrous in the right or wrong light, especially if you're already spooked. Zoologists like Kenneth Campbell and Brad Rancy suggested the Mapinguari might be confused with spectacled bears wandering down from the mountains. The problem is, wild bears don't live in Brazil, and locals who know their wildlife swear what they saw wasn't any damn bear. Even the Machiginga people, who know bears very well, say the Mapinguari is a whole different beast. Glenn Shepard Jr.'s theory. Shepard, an ethnobiologist, someone who studies the intricate relationships between human cultures and the living world around them, sees the Mapinguari as a mythologized memory, a cultural echo of extinct sloths, preserved through oral tradition and maybe influenced by old bones or museum displays. He's less about cryptids and more about how legends keep ancient knowledge alive. Psychological and sociological factors. Fear, isolation, and a dash of jungle fever can make people see monsters in the shadows. In remote areas, stories spread fast and get juicier with every retelling, especially when they reinforce local beliefs or taboos. The mind can play some fucked up tricks on you when you're deep in the Amazon and every twig snap sounds like a death sentence. Now here's where it gets juicy. This is the camp for cryptozoologists, local hunters, and indigenous folks who say, "Hell yes, there's something out there." A subspecies of Bigfoot. Some cryptid hunters, Bernard Heuvelmans, Ivan T. Sanderson, and Lauren Coleman, think the Mapinguari is a South American cousin of Bigfoot. Hairy, upright, stinks like death, and has similar calls. The details line up with classic ape man lore, just with a jungle twist. A surviving giant ground sloth. David C. Oren, ornithologist turned cryptid chaser, took things up a notch. After collecting over 100 eyewitness reports and leading multiple expeditions, he argued the Mapinguari is a living relic, a giant ground sloth that somehow dodged extinction. He even heard its calls and found physical traces. For Oren, this wasn't just a story, it was a biological mystery waiting to be solved. Guardian spirit, transformed shaman. Many indigenous tribes say the Mapinguari is a guardian spirit, punishing anyone dumb enough to disrespect the forest. Some stories claim it's a shaman cursed into beast form, hence the supernatural weirdness. Backward feet, stomach mouth, immortality. In this view, the Mapinguari isn't just an animal, it's the jungle's wrath made of flesh. Scientific takes. Paleontologists keep bumping the extinction date for giant sloths forward as new fossils turn up, and the Amazon coughs up new species every year, 27 in 2024 alone. Forensic analysis of Mapinguari evidence usually fizzles out, but biologists admit in a rainforest covering 2.1 million square miles, a rare nocturnal beast could stay hidden for centuries. History's full of animals, like the okapi and the sayola, once written off as myths, only to turn out to be very real. So, what's the Mapinguari? Skeptics say myth, misidentification, or a memory. Believers see a living legend, a lost beast, or the forest's own guardian spirit. Until someone drags one out of the jungle kicking and screaming, the debate rages on, and the Amazon is pretty damn good at keeping its secrets. What's your gut say? Ancient beast, spirit, or just a big old jungle prank? Drop your wildest take down in the comments. The official story stinks worse than a Mapinguari's armpit after a marathon through the jungle. Think about it. Tribes separated by hundreds of miles. Folks who've never traded a single word describe the same hulking, reeking beast with backward feet and a scream that'll make you need clean underwear. Every time someone gets too close to the truth, evidence vanishes faster than a line of coke at a rock star's after party. Plaster casts? Gone. Hair samples? Misplaced. Eyewitnesses? Silenced or paid off. And any scientist with the balls to poke their nose into this mystery gets their funding yanked, their research buried, and their career sent on a one-way trip to nowhere. That's a hell of a lot of effort for a myth, don't you think? Here's the kicker. What if the Megatherium, the prehistoric giant sloth, never really went extinct? What if it just got smart, learned to hide, and became the hairy nightmare the locals whisper about? The powers that be, governments, corporations, even some scientists have a vested interest in keeping this beast buried, because a living fossil stomping around the Amazon would rip their tidy little narratives about extinction to shreds. If the Mapinguari is real, it means we know a hell of a lot less about our world than we pretend. So keep your eyes peeled, your cameras ready, and your mind open. The truth is out there, and it's a lot hairier and a lot closer than they want you to believe. And tonight, when the jungle goes quiet, listen closely. You might just hear it. If you think the Mapinguari is one weird-looking dude, tap that like button and subscribe. That way you won't miss out on more of my fucked up commentary. And besides, I really do appreciate it. So, what do y'all figure? You think the Mapinguari might be the formerly extinct Megatherium? Or a species of Bigfoot? Let me know down in the comments. And if you're ready to crank that shit up to 11, that join button's got your name on it. For just $2.99, you can have my back in a huge way. Until next time, y'all keep it real, keep it chill, and stay creepy! Catch you on the flip. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. You are the real beast.